These are all my dirty brushes here. I've got a variety. I've got a face brush here, and I've got some eye brushes, some concealer brushes, and some that have had gel liner and lipstick. And I'm going to sort of show you how I do my deep cleansing. So start with running some water, just a really sort of thin line of it. And this is just hand warm water, not too hot, not too cold. You want it to be slightly warm so that it melts any of the oily sort of makeup. And then what I'm going to do is start with, I've just got some face wash here that I don't use. It's a foaming sort of cleanser. And I've got an old clean cosmetic sponge. And I'm just going to pump some of that onto there. Now let's take a particularly dirty brush. This is my concealer brush. So I'm just wetting it and then I'm going to work it into the sponge and just brush along. And if I bring it close, you'll see all of the grunge. It's turning into a bit of a foam and it's just coming out of the brush. And keep going with that. Work it up into a nice sort of foam. Like that. And you know when the brush is clean, if you work it out like that, you just sort of squeeze the water out. That water's got to come out clean. So it's got to come out foam free and product free. So it's got to be colourless. So this is just a really good way to get any stubborn makeup out. So just leave that in the sink. Rinse that through. Always rinse downwards. You see I'm not going up to this part here. There's no need to clean that. And checking the water's coming out clean. That is coming out clean. Now I think that concealers are possibly the hardest ones to do. So I'm going to do a face brush next. So this is just a duo fibre. I'm just going to wet that. To remove anything that you can remove with water is always good. So just give it a little bit of an agitation. Get rid of anything that will come out just with a bit of water. Same thing, got some foaming cleanser on here. And I'm just going to work the brush into the sponge. Just like this. You see, there's loads of product coming out of there. There we go. That's pretty much. I think it's really quick if you use a sponge, because I'm really getting everything out. Let me just check that that's clean. Just running some water, and that is coming out a bit foamy. Just run a bit more water, but essentially it's clean foam. And now it's coming out foamless. There we go. That's a real quick way to deal with that. I'm just putting that in another one there for now. Squeeze the water out. Lipsticks, they are particularly awful to get out of your brushes. So what I've got here is my oily makeup remover. And pop that back in there. Pour a bit of that onto a cotton wool pad. Take your lipsticks covered brush and soak it. And then keep rubbing until the worst of that comes off, because it's really greasy. So you're going to have to either use a lot of detergent to get this out, or get the worst of it off with a makeup remover. It's not going to harm the brush whatsoever. And I'm just going to see how much has come out of that. I had no idea that there was that much in there. So I've got the worst of this off. I've melted it. Keep going. There you go. Most of that has come off now. That's pretty good. So now, what's that? Leaf. So now we're going to start with some cleanser. Get it on our sponge. And then work that brush into the sponge. And you know when it's clean because the foam is clean and the sponge is clean. There was no pink on there anymore. That is a great way to get them all clean. Just use like an old sponge. Okay, so the same with all the rest of the brushes. You know, that's how to deal with the worst of these things. So this has had gel liner on it. I think that was from my Halloween tutorial. So that's all coming out, look, new on there. of it out. Okay. So you get the gist of how to wash all of that off. Basically, I'm using a gentle makeup remover. I'll go on and finish those and show you the rest. So that's how we mechanically get rid of the physical dirt from our brushes. Okay, so as I said, I've finished all of the physical debris that's in the brushes is gone. And now what I'm going to do is disinfect. And what I'm using here is surgical spirit, which is basically an alcohol. And what that will do is, I'm just going to pour some of that into there. And each brush, so that has no dirt on it, but I still wouldn't use it on someone else's face because it's not sanitized. The way to do that is to take your wet brush, your wet rinsed brush, and dip it into the alcohol, just like this. Really get those bristles coated. And what that does is it also forces out any water. So these are going to dry super quick. As soon as the alcohol has evaporated, those are ready to go. And what I'm going to do is just pop these ones in all my washed brushes, pop it into there. Do the same with each single brush. Just dip it in. You can dip them in together. There are no germs that can live in this, so it's pretty good stuff. And just dip it in. So this is the way I deep cleanse my brushes. Basically, I dip them in like this. And this is also the way that I clean my brushes if I'm in a hurry or I haven't got access to water and soap. So it will get rid of all of the germs and it will melt off a lot of the makeup. A lot of makeup artists at the end of the day will just leave their brushes to soak in this alcohol until the following day and then take them out and sort of pop them on some tissue and then they'll dry. So you can do that as well. This is a great thing to do with your brushes and it's so quick as well if you just want to use this alcohol. But I like to deep cleanse my brushes so that I'm absolutely certain that I've really washed everything out. So that is how I clean and cleanse and disinfect my brushes. They are, let's give them maybe an hour and they will be good and dry. Just popping them in a clean vessel. And also, this is probably just a personal point, I wouldn't leave your brushes to dry in the bathroom. Take them out and leave them somewhere else naturally to dry because you don't want them in a bathroom, say, which has a toilet in it as well, because when you flush the toilet, the germs fly around the room and will land on your brush. So that is done. That's great. And then you can just tip this away. And there we go. So that's it. That's how I clean my brushes.